This is the very first verse of the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1, verse 1. It is spoken by Dhritarashtra to Sanjaya. Dharmakshetre kurukshetre samveta yuyutsavah mamakah pandavaschaiva kim kurvat Sanjay. In the field of dharma, at Kurukshetra, when those eager to fight had assembled, what did my people and the Pandavas do, O Sanjaya? Dharmakshetre ev, in the field of dharma, a holy place, a place of righteousness and ethical order. Kurukshetre, Kurus in Kurukshetra, the land of the Kurus, Samavita, Ugos having gathered, assembled together, Yutsava. Desiring to fight, ready for battle. Mamakah, Iksus my people, those on my side, my sons and supporters. Pandavacha eva, Iks, and also the Pandavas kim akurvata, Ikos, what did they do? What were they doing? O Sanjaya. Dhritarashtra asks Sanjaya, on the holy land of Kurukshetra, where people from my side and the Pandavas have gathered for war, O Sanjaya, what did they do? The direct meaning is not only, tell me what is happening in the war. The first verse of Srimad Bhagavad Gita is very important, as it exposes a mental condition. Dhritarashtra does not say our people. He says, mamakah, means my people. This shows that behind the question, there is not neutral curiosity, but attachment and bias, which is the foundation stone of this epic war. Even on a dharmakshetra, means on a holy land, his mind first holds on to mine. This is a sign of inner blindness, not of the eyes, but of discernment. Dhritarashtra's condition can basically be understood in 3 layers. The first layer is that of a person caught between authority and family. He is a king, so the responsibility for justice rests on him. But he is also a father, and because of attachment to his sons, he is not able to enforce Raja Dharma, the duty of a ruler. This is exactly the point where an ordinary person also gets trapped. The external role may be different, but attachment weakens decision-making in the same way. The second layer is fear and insecurity. He knows that injustice has taken place, but he is afraid that if he restrains his own son, his power, his family structure, and his sense of stability may collapse. Therefore, he postpones, remains silent, and, staying inside the circle of mamakah, wants to view even the truth only from his own side. The third layer is blindness of the mind, manka andhatva, not blindness of the eyes, but a clouding of discrimination. When a person hears what is right, yet does not find the courage to live by it, then this blindness of the mind becomes active. That is why the first verse of the Gita is so crucial. The word dharmakshetre shows that the place and the moment are aligned with dharma, but the word mamakah shows that Dhritarashtra's mind is still bound to mine. This means the problem is not outside, the problem is inside. This is the doorway into the Gita. First, the inner blindness of the mind is revealed, and then the knowledge of the remedy is given. Sanjaya is a key character in the Mahabharata who served in Hastinapura as Dhritarashtra's trusted advisor and charioteer court attendant. Sanjaya's importance grows here because, in front of Dhritarashtra's state of mind, he stands as the representative of witness consciousness. He is described as a disciple of sage Vyasa, known for speaking frankly and reporting events faithfully to the blind king. Dhritarashtra is inwardly full of bias and fear. Sanjaya is given the duty to see the truth and to speak it exactly as it is. Sanjaya's mental state appears opposite. Even while belonging to the king's side, Sanjaya describes the war truthfully. He does not report like someone drowned in emotional bias. He reports like a witness, seeing and speaks as it is. Now the question arises, why was divine vision, clairvoyance, given to Sanjaya and not to Dhritarashtra? At one level, the reason is practical. Dhritarashtra needed a direct account of the battlefield. For that, a trustworthy medium was required. The king needed to hear the truth. But before seeing the truth, one must have the inner qualification to accept it. Dhritarashtra lacked exactly that. By granting divine vision to Sanjaya, a reliable information path was created so that as events unfolded, truth could reach the palace. Dhritarashtra's problem was not lack of information. It was lack of will to take the right decision. The first verse of the Gita does not begin with Arjuna. It begins with Dhritarashtra. This means that the real problem is not always the war. The real problem is the capacity to take a decision. He was repeatedly advised, restrain Duryodhana, do not allow injustice, return the kingdom. But attachment bound him. Dhritarashtra could not see with his eyes, but the bigger reason was the blindness of the mind, knowing that his own son was in the wrong, yet not being able to stop him. In such a state, even if he were given the power to see, the inner blindness would not end because decisions would still be driven by my side. Symbolically, it teaches that divine vision bears fruit only in one who has the capacity to accept truth. A third level is this: Krishna establishes dharma, but does not take away anyone's free choice. Dhritarashtra had to face the consequences of his own choices. If extraordinary vision were given to him in a way that reduced inner responsibility, the moral message of the Mahabharata would weaken. Giving divine vision to Sanjaya was not interference. It created a witnessing mechanism so that truth could be recorded and transmitted to humanity as history. The symbolic meaning of this verse is very deep. Kurukshetra is not only geography, it also represents the place in life where decisions must be made. Dharmakshetra indicates that the voice of conscience is present in the decision field. Rules, ethics, truth, justice. But Dhritarashtra's mamakah shows that when attachment dominates, even on a dharma ground, the mind splits into mine and theirs. Sanjaya shows that in the same situation, it is possible to see with the attitude of a witness. This is real vision. How does this relate to our life? Every ordinary person faces a Kurukshetra, when one must choose between family ties, relationships, money, reputation, career, partnerships, and ethics. Now think, is this not our own situation too? When someone at home is doing wrong, when some injustice is happening in the office, when someone in a relationship is crossing the limits and we remain silent even though we know it. Why? Because inside the mind, mamakah is operating. My people, my relationship, my image, my loss. At that time, two voices operate. One is Dharmakshetra, which speaks what is right. The other is mamakah, which says, I should not lose, my side must win, my people must look right, even if the method is wrong. The message of this verse is that the problem is often not outside. The problem is that inner judgment gets covered by mine versus yours. Sanjaya-like vision does not mean seeing miracles. It means being able to see facts, truth, and consequences clearly in any conflict, and then choose rightly when you are at a difficult turning point. The most useful practice suggested by this verse is to ask yourself, am I seeing dharma or am I only protecting my side? Because real blindness is not of the eyes, it is of attachment. And real divine vision is the ability to see truth without distortion. That is why the Gita begins not with war, but with the contrast between inner blindness and true vision. In the first verse itself, the biggest lesson of life is hidden. When mamakah reduces, dharma becomes clear. And when dharma becomes clear, Kurukshetra becomes a path, not merely a war.